Hello everyone, this is Captain Skyworthy, and as you can see here, I'm here to do a little bit of Magic the Gathering. Now, I haven't made a video in quite some time, a very long time actually. Been pretty busy with a ton of stuff, usually school. So now that I have a chance to make a video, I decided to do something a little fresh, a little new. So for those of you who don't know, Magic the Gathering is a very popular trading card game. There is a paper version of this, but since I am Poe, I'm going to have to do the online version since it's usually much cheaper. I spent a lot of time just gathering a bunch of staples, usually modern staples, since that's my favorite format. So yeah, that's what we're going to be playing today, modern. And for those of you who are familiar with Magic, the deck that I'm playing today is Slivers. And Slivers, basically the theme of the deck is to get a bunch of these little guys called Slivers, and they all buff each other up. Some of them give flying, some of them have shadow, some of them give double strike, others allow the others to produce mana, and all that good stuff. We have striking Slivers here. They have a pretty good synergy with the Venom Slivers, which give Death Touch, so if I block or if it gets blocked, the creature automatically dies. And let's see what else we got here. We got some Sentinel Slivers. Now, the Sentinel Slivers, they give Vigilance, and basically allows us to attack without having to tap down all our guys. I noticed that problem with the deck in a bit of testing is that if I alpha, then I'm susceptible to, a snapback. So having blockers up is really good. Mana Weft Sliver to ramp up and get the higher mana cost slivers, such as the Bun Size and the Silver Hive Lord, and even the Megantic. We have the Predatory Sliver. This is our main form of buffing. He gives all Sliver creatures +1/+1. So there was an old version. The old version of the Slivers, as you can see over here, gave all Slivers the boosts, but the newer versions only give the ones that you control the boost. So that's really good. Most of our Slivers are like this, but since there are a lot of really good old Slivers and Slivers is not that common, having some of the old ones is beneficial as well. And Venom Sliver is so that we can pretty much trade with anything that's not indestructible. So we can chump block with a striking Sliver if we need to, and we won't have to use any removal. Shadow Sliver allows us to be unblockable whenever we're attacking. That way we can get damage through even though our opponent might have guys on the field. Very, very self-explanatory. Blur Sliver is very important. It allows us to pretty much do things as soon as the Sliver hits the field. For example, the Mana Weft Sliver works really well with it. We'll be able to tap for mana as soon as we play it. And plus, if we use some of the Slivers, which I've had to do often to play the Blur Sliver, we can play one mana cost Sliver using it. And Homing Sliver is a really important card in the deck, in my opinion. It allows us to basically discard a useless Sliver in our hand and get a more useful one right out of our deck. It's basically our own little tutor. Necrotic Sliver. Originally, I was really excited for this Sliver when I found it on the database gatherer, because it worked really well with Pulmonic Sliver. That's its name. Pulmonic Sliver gives all Slivers flying, so that's one nice little ability here to block flyers. And it also allows us to basically recur Slivers if they were able to die. Necrotic Sliver basically allows us to destroy any permanent just for paying 3 and sacrificing a Sliver. So if we have a token on the battlefield, a Sliver token, we can just pay 3, sack it, and kill the opponent's Karn or their Blood Moon or something along those lines. And plus, we get that Sliver back on top of our library. Not tokens, though. Maybe a striking Sliver or a Mana Weft or something. So I'll put that guy back over here. We have the Bone Scythe Slivers. This allows us to have double strike. So basically, it doubles our power and also gives us first strike damage for the first hit So it also works very well with Venom Sliver. And plus allows us to get some extra damage through. And the Bone Splitter Sliver, blah, gives all of our slivers +2/+0, just some extra attacking power, since the only other buffing sliver in our deck is the Predatories. I am thinking about modifying the deck a little so that we have more slivers to give our guys a bit of a boost, but for now, we'll just have this guy. The Sliver Hive Lord is really good. Basically pay 1 of every mana. He's already a 5/5 for 5, which is pretty decent. And it's indestructible and makes all of our other guys indestructible. That's really good against Wrath. It's really good against black decks, which really like to kill things. It is a legendary, and its mana cost is very prohibitive. It's not easy to get all 5 colors unless we have a mana left. So we only have as a 1 of. And finally, the Megantic Sliver in our main deck. That's the last creature. As you can see, all of it is creatures. No instants or sorceries or any non-creature spells whatsoever, except in our sideboard, which we'll get to in a moment. But the Megantic Sliver, it's 6 mana for a 3/3, but in reality it's kind of 6 mana for a 6/6, since it gives all Sliver creatures +3/+3, including himself. So that's another good thing about Slivers. The abilities that the Slivers give each other, they also get that ability. So this guy in reality is a 4/2, and this guy is actually a 3/3. Or a 2/2, sorry. So it gives all of our Slivers a really big boost. So he's not the only one that... so the Predatory and the Bone Splitters aren't the only ones that give boosts. But this guy is really, really expensive. And from what I've noticed, I don't get to 6 mana very quickly, so there's that. And our mana base, this is a very budget deck, since, like I said before, I don't have a lot of money. So one card that would have gone really well in this deck is Cavernous Souls, which basically allows us to tap for 1 mana, choose a creature type, and that creature type's uncounterable. But instead we have the Ancient Ziggurat. Since this is an all-creature deck, we can afford to play this card. This is a land that taps for any color, and it allows us to only play creature spells, which will be no problem in this deck. I only have a 1-up of Island, since the only blue in our deck come from the Shadow Sliver and the Sliver Hive Lord, and a couple of slivers in our sideboard. The Sliver Hive, it basically allows us to play any sliver in our deck as well. It's not uncounterable, but it still allows us to have a very consistent mana base, and plus it has a little ability here in case we do end up getting extra mana, where we can make a guy for 5 mana, I believe, if it'll show up. I don't think it'll show up, but it taps for a certain amount of mana and gives us a token, which will get all the boosts that the other slivers do. And I would play dual lands, but there are 2 reasons why I don't play them. One, I would play shock lands, but only have the Abzan color shock lands, so red, not red, but black, green, and white. And so shock lands, even on MTGO, are fairly expensive, at least for my budget. So I'm kind of holding off on them. And 2, Blood Moon would pretty much get rid of all of our non-basics, so it's really good to have basics in here. I also don't play fetch lands because 1, they're very expensive, and 2, I don't have the dual lands to take advantage of them in Modern, only the absent colors. So instead, I'm paying this basic fetch land, Terramorphic Expanse, tap sack it, get a color, so it helps with fixing. And let's just move over to the sideboard. Over in the sideboard, we have Essence Sliver against aggressive strategies. So basically, it gives all of our creatures lifelink, but it doesn't explicitly say lifelink, since it's kind of an old card. But it allows us to gain a ton of life when we attack or block, so very useful. Fate's Fetters is good against planeswalkers, creatures, and helps us gain a ton of life. Gains 4 life, and basically it shuts down their attacking, blocking, and activated abilities. And also I can enchant lands with this. So if they have a really good land like the that new land from the Constant Tarkir set, the ones that allows you to recur dragons, I could enchant that, make that completely useless. I can enchant their fetch lands if they're kind of slow, you know, just kind of shut them down in a lot of areas. Diffusion Sliver is good against control and other strategies that like to target us. Basically, it makes them pay an extra 2 if a spell or ability that they control targets a sliver we control. So it's kind of a pseudo hexproof, but since slivers don't have any cards that specifically give hexproof, not that I know of anyway, they're illegal in Modern, this is as close as we can get. And it's really good because there's actually like a Veldican wizard guy that bounces slivers. And I've seen them in sideboards where I never expected them to see them. So this could be really good against that. Since we don't have Cavern of Souls, I have the Ley Line of Life Force, which basically make all of our creatures uncounterable. Really good against control as well. Delver and Splinter Twin. So it allows us to basically play our creatures freely. Harmonic Sliver, really good against Tron and robots and the deck that makes a lot of artifact dudes. What's it called? It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember its name. Affinity. That's what it is. Affinity. So basically allows all of our slivers to be able to kill artifacts and enchantments too. So it can help get rid of blood moons and ghostly prisons and ensnaring bridges, things that would prohibit us. And 1 extra Sliver Hive Lord for the control matchup. And that's pretty much the deck. I've tested it a little bit. And in most of the series, at least until I can get a suitable amount of money, I'll be doing the tournament practice rooms rather than 2-mans or a daily. So I'll be playing free games. The problem with that is that if the opposing player gets salty or if they deem our deck unworthy for any reason whatsoever, they could just disconnect. So we might see some of that. But for now, we'll just be playing that, and you can get an idea of how the deck works. It's really cheap. The original iteration of the deck costs a little less than 5 tickets, which is like $5. 1 ticket equals $1. So really cheap deck. Is really good for people who are getting into Magic for the first time. And yeah, we'll just go in and play a few games.